Hey everybody. I know it's been a while since I put out a video. Um, been going through just a lot of different stuff going on in the business and my family. So it's just been like a super crazy week. A lot of ups and downs. Um, but I wanted just to touch base, and I really don't have time uh, to put a whole lot of effort in this video, but I really felt like I needed to just, I don't know, share some thoughts, right? And so this is going out to probably, business owners and different things, but who knows where you're going to hear this, or if you need to hear this, or if you don't need to hear this. And I'm just putting it out there because I need to put it out. And so, um, just like I said, a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff made me question uh, reasonings behind the things that I'm doing. And so, if you've been in business for any amount of time, or if you own your own business, or if you've done any kind of marketing, or maybe even listening to motivational speakers and things, they always talk about your why, and what are the reasons that we do some of the things that we do. And so I do believe that it's super important to know where you're going, and the reason that you want to get there, and the reason you want to be who you are striving to be. But also too, it has to be it has to be big, and it has to be something that deep down inside that you cannot um, live, or that you can't function without that coming to pass. And I'm not saying that it has to come to pass now. I'm not saying that whatever your why is, you have to have it tomorrow, but it has to be big enough to where you can't live without it. And whether that's your family, whether that's financial freedom, whether that's spending time with your kids, it's something that you can't be able to give up on, because giving up on it means dying, right? Giving up on it means that you're no longer living. That means you're no longer breathing. That means it's no longer something that if you are living, or if you are breathing, that you cannot function. You can't have joy. You can't have happiness. You can't have purpose. That why has to be that thing that you continually chase after and chase after and chase after. And not only that, but once it's attainable, and once it becomes attained, that we have to continue to move forward and strive and find that next thing. Like, what's the next place? What's the next why? What's the next answer? Because, if my why is to make $20,000 a month, well, what happens when I hit that? What happens when I reach that? Where do I go from there? Do I go back to the same person I was before I started trying to reach that goal? Do I go back to mediocre? Do I go back to no passion? Do I go back to no purpose? And so, as your character evolves, as the person that you're becoming to reach your goals, like we all have to become different to reach the goal that we set before us, because the way we are now and the way you are today cannot be the same tomorrow. If you want to reach a different goal tomorrow, you have to change yourself. You have to change your circumstance. You have to change your life. You have to change your thought process. You have to do things that are uncomfortable so that you can reach where you're going. But the fact of the matter is that if you stay hungry and you go after those things, you're going to reach them. And what's going to happen when you reach them? Like, are you going to lay back and say, "Hey, I'm sitting and I'm in cloud nine. I'm fine"? Like, people ask wealthy people all the time, when is it enough? You can go ask Elon Musk, or Jeff Bezos, or any of those guys, when is it enough? And it's not necessarily the money that has anything to do with it. It's the fact that they set themselves a new height. They set themselves a new place that they're going to reach. Like, Elon Musk is not going to stop until he sends somebody to Mars, right? He's just not going to stop. It doesn't matter about the money. That's his dream. That's his purpose. And then what happens when he reaches Mars? What planet next, right? And we have to do that on our level, right? Like, it's not my passion to send somebody to Mars. It's not. And I can't take his passion and apply it to my life. My passion has to be my passion. My purpose has to be my purpose. My why has to be my why, and it can't be yours, and you have to have your own as well. But I wanted to talk to you just a little bit, is is a little bit about purpose and a little bit about giving up and failure. And the thing is, guys, if we don't want to live mediocre lives, then we can't do mediocre actions. We have to work when we don't feel like working. We have to do things that we don't feel like doing. We have to put ourselves in a place that is uncomfortable so that we can work things out and move out of things and get to new places. You have to continually use what God has given you, right? Whatever that is, whatever God-given talent that he's given you, whatever passion he's given you, whatever purpose that you have deep down inside, you have to use those things, because when you don't use something, it dies. And so if one day you said, hey, you know what, I'm going to start a new business, and you take that purpose and you take that passion that you had and you go start your new business, if you don't keep that passion, if you don't utilize that passion, if you don't use that faith that you took to go open that business, if you don't use that faith on the daily, that faith will die up. That faith will die, and the next thing you know, you're running a business and you don't believe in it anymore because it got hard, because you lost the faith, because you didn't continually use it to say, okay, I've reached this milestone and now I'm going to the next, and now I'm going to the next. My faith grew this much, and now I've reached that spot. Now my faith has to grow this much. So I've reached that $10,000 a month goal. Now I've reached that. Now I need to have enough faith to reach 25,000. Now I need to have enough faith to reach 75,000 and 150,000. And if we don't stretch that, we lose it. And maybe you're okay with losing it. Maybe it's fine. You've hit what you're good. That's your truth. You can do that. Hit a 20,000 and just coast the rest of your life. That's fine. But know where you are and know who you are, because once you stop using something, you begin to lose it. I believe it was Jim Rohn. I heard him say once that if you take your arm and it's a perfectly good arm, and you tie it up to your side with a rope or a scarf, and you immobilize that arm, well, eventually that arm may still be attached. It may still be living, but it's not striving. What happens is it starts to lose muscle. It starts to lose its use. And then eventually you will no longer have use for that arm. And you see that in the medical field when people have to go to physical therapy after not being able to walk for 6 months or a year. Not that there is anything wrong with their legs. Everything is working. Everything is there, but they've lost the use of it. And they can no longer use it, and they have to relearn. Don't put yourself in the position to have to relearn every time you reach a goal. Don't put yourself in the position to have to learn a new skill when that new skill is needed, right? We could sit there and say, well, I don't need that skill to reach my goal, but you may need that new skill when you reach your goal. So never quit learning. The mind's the same way. You always have to keep reading, and you always have to keep learning. You always have to keep learning that new skill. Even if you don't need it now, who knows when you're going to need it? And you just cannot quit. Let me tell you something about hunger. Okay? I'm a Christian. Most of you guys know I'm a Christian. Over the last 10 years, I've done a lot of fast. And if you don't know what a fast is, it's where you abstain from food or water for a period of time to get your mind right, your spirit right, to focus on what God is trying to tell you. And so I've done some crazy fast. Okay, I'm 21-day fast. I've done a few 40-day fast to where very little food, very little water for 40 days. Well, not little water for 40 days. I had to drink water, but very little. And you know what I found is that the first 3 or 4 days of a fast are the hardest. So when you abstain yourself without food for 3 or 4 days, your body is hungry, your stomach's growling, it's miserable, you're losing your energy. Everything just kind of starts to go downhill. And then like day 4, day 5, all of a sudden the hunger stops, right? Because your body is beginning to realize like, hey, we're going to just start going in conservative mode, and we're going to go into survival mode. And then all of a sudden, like, you're not feeding yourself, you're not giving yourself that fuel to move on. And so now your body is on autopilot to survive. And it does that. It does that for a very, very long time. And you can go a very long time without eating. But you know what happens day 25, day 30, day 35 without food? Even if you're having water, even if you're getting a little bit of nutrition, your body starts to hurt. And now all of a sudden, before in the beginning you had hunger pains, and now for those last 2 weeks you didn't have any hunger pains, but now your body's to the point where it's can no longer satisfy itself in what it has, and it can no longer keep going without fuel. And all of a sudden things begin to shut down, things begin to hurt, your body hurts. Your body's telling you like, hey, you need to feed me. You need to feed me, or this is the end. This is where we call it quits. This is it. We're giving up. And we do that with our lives. We do that with our lives. We stop feeding ourselves hope. We stop feeding ourselves life. We stop feeding ourselves dreams. We stop feeding ourselves purpose. And then all of a sudden, after so many weeks or after so many days of not feeding ourselves purpose, guess what? We don't feel the hunger for purpose anymore. We don't feel the hunger for purpose anymore. And obviously it's expedited when we're talking about really real food, but you don't feel the hunger for purpose anymore. And you go months and you go years and you go years upon years upon years without purpose because you've quit feeding your purpose. You quit feeding you quit allowing yourself to be hungry for more. And the next thing that you know is you're dying. And then your body says, hey, I can't go on anymore. And then you're depressed and you have no joy, you have no passion. And then all of a sudden your body hurts. And then all of a sudden we spark hunger again. We spark hunger again and we feed and we feed and we feed and we start a new adventure, or we start a new business, or we start going back to church, or we start going after the purpose that we know that God called for us. And we feed it, we feed it, we feed it, we fill it up a little bit. And then we quit feeding it. We quit allowing ourselves to be hungry for it. And then the same process opens up again. You have to stay hungry. It's the biggest thing with I forgot his name, but you got to stay hungry, right? You have to stay hungry. You have to want more and more and more. And the only way you can want more is that you're never satisfied, not as a selfish thing, but as a way to just keep going. You cannot be satisfied. Believe that there is more. Have faith that there is more. Operate in hope. Operate in faith. Operate in passion. Operate in discipline. Operate in all of those things that are going to make you better and that are going to push you to the next level. And guys, don't tie yourself up. Don't tie your dreams up, because they'll die inside of you. And then all of a sudden you're gonna go through your life and you're gonna wake up and it's gonna be like, man, what did I do? I'm 40 years old. And I've let the last 20 years just go by. Functioning in everything. Just functioning in work, in life, in my marriage, with my kids, just functioning. Not not any of those things are bad. I've had a good life. We've had great times. We've had good, but just functioning. I don't know about you guys, but I'm just not called to function. I'm called to strive. I'm called to succeed. I want the best of everything. I want the best job. I want the best money. I want the best for my kids. I want the best for my wife. I want the best for me. I want the best for anybody that's attached to me, right? I want my friends to be blessed because they know me, right? That's what my why is. That's my passion. And I just want to keep going and going and going and going. And so I don't know where you guys are at today, but I want you to take a second and, I want you to reevaluate. Take a minute. Put your pen down, whatever, and say, whoever you believe. If you believe in God, I'm a Christian. I believe that, hey, it starts there. And if you're not, that's not a big deal. But whoever you're going after, if it's just yourself and you need to look inside yourself and say, what am I doing? Have I given up? Why am I not moving forward? What are getting in the way? What is getting in the way? Look, guys, I know that if there was anything in the way between me and my kids and they needed me, there was nothing that's going to stop me. Nothing. You put a brick wall, 50 men. I'm going to die or I'm going to get there. And that's the mentality we have to have. I'm going to die or I'm going to get there. I'm going to die or I'm going to get there. There's no if, there's no how. We'll figure all that out on the journey. But you got to start the journey and you got to keep running and running and running. Get some bloody knees, get some bloody elbows when you fall. get some bloody hands from getting up, wear out your shoes, and run. So go live the life that I believe that God is destined for you. Go live your life with passion and purpose. And I hope to hear from you guys. Leave a comment below if this has ministered to you or whatever. Hit me up if you got my email. Share this if you think somebody could use it. And I hope to hear from you guys. Be blessed and have a great day.